phones, recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We are here to celebrate, affirm, and put into action the interconnected living mission of the Unitarian principles you'll find printed on the back of your order of service. We broadcast and archive our services on YouTube, and to be put on our mailing list or to find out more information about us, please go to our website at tcuuc.org. At this time, please take a moment to silence your cell phones. Okay. Visitors. We welcome anyone who is here for the first time or maybe even the second time. Visitors, if you are comfortable, please step up to the microphone and introduce yourself. Okay. All right.
This is Linda. She worked in the office for about 6 months.
Okay. Thank you, Linda and Tia. Okay. Okay. Please see our printed order of service and newsletter for complete details. Join us the first and third Tuesdays at Poppleton Creek Park at noon for our brown bag lunch. This park is down the street adjacent to the dog park. Jim Rose wants to give a brief announcement right now.
Good morning. The Treasure Coast Youth Symphony
wants to make an
practices here every
announcement
Monday
about
night over there in our storage
menstruation.
space. We have tom-tom drums and xylophone, and it's really a spectacular Monday. They are doing a few concerts, and we're all invited to one that's in Tequesta, or actually Hope Sound, on November 3rd, and it's free to all of the congregants of our church. And so we made this sign-up form, and put your name, your phone number, and whether you can give a ride or if you need a ride, so that if anybody wants to go that wants to carpool. So this will be out in the other things today, and it should be fun. They're fun kids. Thanks.
Truman has an announcement he wants to make.
Well, thank you. I would do this during Joys and Concerns just to get Bob, but anyhow, no announcements. Truman Dunn on behalf of the Social Justice Team. First of all, thanks for all the support for this month as we're partnering with the Palm Beach congregation on women's health. And today will be the last Sunday where the second time the offering goes through with the wicker baskets. All of that money goes to buy items that go in the travel kits for women who have to travel out of state. One other thing, when you go in the fellowship hall today and all the different committees and teams, the social justice team is on one end, and one of our sort of side projects is that we're wanting to have a new t-shirt. I have one that Janet gave me that weighs like 4 pounds, and when you wear it, it's really hot. So we're getting new t-shirts so that when we're at public events, like our goal is to have a group of us walk in the MLK parade in January. So we'd like to have the common t-shirts. It's really a great outreach, not only a statement about who we are, but it's also a conversation piece when people stop, see a group of people. Sorry about that. Could you hear me anyhow? All right, good enough. See a group of people in common and ask why are you here and where are you from? So it's a good outreach and also has people come to our congregation. And I'm told that women particularly have to try them on. Men usually know their sizes according to the t-shirt place that we're using, Stimmels. So I have small, medium, and large for women. When you come through, if you'd like to pre-order, we'll have a sign-up sheet. You don't have to do it today. I know this is a surprise. Maybe you don't even want a t-shirt, but for those who do, we're going to charge $30. The t-shirt itself, because it's going to be a lightweight, wicking kind of t-shirt, a better quality shirt. So, and then a little bit of money baked in to start some kind of fund for social justice, because we have no budget for social justice per se, or very little. So, hope everybody's okay with that. And if you're not okay with $30, then you just don't can get your own t-shirt, I guess. All right, thank you.
We have about a dozen T-shirts, TC Unitarian shirts in the storeroom.
Right, but I think they're a different fabric.
Okay.
These will be all the same color.
Okay, continuing with the announcements. Next Sunday, November 2nd at 12:30 p.m., we will hold our celebration of the life of Pamela Joy Corbin. It will be live streamed and a light lunch will follow. After our homecoming service today, we will meet in Heston Hall with food to share. Just a couple more. Team Fair today, sit down near a sign. This is when you get into Heston Hall. Sit down near a sign you are interested in or okay to be involved in.
After you eat, you can get food first.
We will have coffee and cookies in our social hall after the service. And a big thanks for those who helped with the service: Jackie Robbins on cello, Sandy Craig on piano, and our TCUUC choir for the music, our greeters, Janet Grote, Judith Watt, and David Gray, our ushers and our tech support, Corina Pelloni, and our backup tech, Alistair Forrester. Our hospital team, I think I'm thinking too much about medical stuff because it's on my mind. Okay, our hospitality team is Joanne Leone, Jackie Buckley, and Janet Rader. Our Rev Bob MacDonald is in the pulpit today. Here is our prelude.
Good morning. I'd like to preface this with, I didn't stay home last night because I was helping out a family, and there were torrential rains and it flooded. So I have no cello bow. I don't have my regular cello. I had a cello, but there's no bow in the case, so I'm going to be playing on a bass bow. A bass bow, which weighs about twice as much. So this is a disclaimer.
And now for our chalice lighting. The flame of our chalice this morning is a symbol of the warmth and brightness of our connection. The flame lights our way back together again from our separate summer lives, and it lights our way forward into this new church year of promise and renewal. That was by Janet Parsons. A mighty wind blew night and day. It stole the oak tree's leaves away, then snapped its bough and pulled its bark until the oak was tired and stark. But still the oak held its ground, while other trees fell all around. The weary wind gave up and spoke, "How can you still be standing, oak?" The oak tree said, I know that you can break each branch of mine in two, carry every leaf away, shake my limbs, and make me sway. But I have roots stretched in the earth, growing stronger since my birth. You'll never touch them, for you see, they are the deepest part of me. Until today, I wasn't sure of just how much I could endure, but now I have found, with thanks to you, I'm stronger than I ever knew. And that was by Johnny Ray Ryder, Jr. Okay, stand up if you're comfortable. We're going to sing our first hymn. It is number 170. It's called Gentle, Angry People. Let us recite our affirmation, speaking the first verse and singing the second. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
437, let us worship. We'll read this responsively. Let us worship with our eyes and ears and fingertips. We feed our eyes upon the mystery and revelation in the faces of our brothers and sisters. We seek to know the wistfulness of the very young and of the very old, the wistfulness of people in all times of life. We seek to understand the shyness behind arrogance, the fear behind pride, the tenderness behind clumsy strength, the anguish behind cruelty. All life flows into a great common life if we will only to our companions. Let us worship not in bowing down, not with closed eyes and stopped ears. Let us worship with the opening of all the windows of our beings, with the full stretching of our spirits. Life comes with singing and laughter, with tears and confiding, with a rising wave too great to be held in the mind and heart and body, to those who have fallen in love with life. Let us worship and let us learn to love. Kenneth Patton. And now our matters of joy and sorrow. We invite you to share yours in the hope that you will know as you do, you are heard and supported. And I always ask that they be personal and brief. Who has such a matter to share?
Good morning, all. It is my joy to share that I'm finally well and back. And I want to share that I was out because of parasites. I had contacted them from a friend's dog who I'd been trying to avoid, but he got to my face and my lips, and that's how they can be spread. They're also spread by working in the soil of South Florida. We do live in the tropics, and parasites unfortunately do abound.
Good to see you.
Hello, my name is Jackie Robbins, and I'd like to share with you that I had a biopsy report from the pathologist, and everything's clear. It was in the same area I have melanoma, which was not clear a couple of years ago, so I'm happy.
Hello, I'm Judy Shaloni, and I just want to share a joy that I had this morning when coming here. As I was coming out of Sand Hill Cove, where I live now, around the corner comes a man on his speed bike, like one of those racing bikes, and his wife is in front of him, and she's in a three-wheeler with a flag up the back. He's 100, and she's 98. They ride 20 miles every morning. It was joyful.
Good morning, I'm Pat Burke. I have a concern for a friend. She's been a dear, dear friend for the better part of 2 decades, Shaquilla Martin. If any of you have been standard going to LA Fitness, you may know her as having been a long time one of the housekeepers there. She's beloved by many, many in the community. She lives in a tiny little hole in the wall in Brio, and she's retired now, except for one day a month she cleans for me. She called me a week ago Saturday and said, "I'm sick, I can't come." I said, "Call me in a couple days and tell me you're okay." And I didn't didn't hear from her. So Thursday I went to her place. It took her 10 minutes to get to the door from about there to about there. So I took her to a downtown hospital emergency room, and she's still there. She has no family, doesn't drive, is on a small Social Security, fortunately has a good Medicare plan. So Shaq is in my keeping. I seem to collect people. And I just want you to keep her in your thoughts and prayers because she's a very special person. Thank you.
Jackie, coming up.
Jackie Buckley. I just wanted to share a joy that 2 weeks ago I took 80 pounds of food from the collection we have out there. It's an ongoing collection of food and personal care products to House of Hope. And I was in Friday. Basket was full again, and 40 more pounds. Thanks to all that donated.
No tripping. Anyone else?
Yes. I went to Halifax, Nova Scotia for 11 days, and I had such a wonderful time. It was so good to get away. Because of my cancer, I had to cancel a trip I had planned. So I had the plane ticket that needed to be used before March, and I didn't want to wait till March to go away because it was so cold. But Halifax, I don't know if anybody has visited, but it's an absolutely beautiful city. I did some genealogy. I actually found my ancestors' graves. And I had read that some of them were from a town called Lunenburg. And so I went to Lunenburg, and there was a plaque on the wall that says founding families of Lunenburg, and my family name was on it. So it was wonderful.
Anyone else? As many of you know, my wife's hip replacement has been postponed, and we're just waiting for a new surgery date. And when I hear about it, you'll hear about it. We hope it's soon. Anyone else? And we always move a stone for people we haven't said out loud, but think about, care about, worry about. We all have such a list. Now, my meditation this morning is going to be this reading, number 435, by Kathleen McTighe, in the back of the hymnal, 435. We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see there communion, the reflection of our own eyes. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope is hallowed by our presence together. Kathleen McTighe. And now a minute of silence. And now, Spirit of Life, 123. We hum it once and then we sing it once, seated or standing. Now, I keep saying I hope that we all experience generosity here, and you know we need to experience some of your generosity to keep going. So now our morning offering, and after that the second offering for what Truman talked about. So indeed, next week, we want the celebration of Pam's life to be as special as we can make it. And we'll bring her artwork in here. We haven't decided exactly where it can go yet, but we want it to be where people can see it most easily. Beautiful pieces that are on display now in my office. I've heard from a number of her cousins that they can't be here, but they're looking forward to live streaming, including the cousin who was going to bring a saxophone, but he can't, so he's going to be watching it anyway. One I heard from yesterday told me that she was into Family Tree, and she had looked up Pam's family tree, which she was a part of, and had found that all of Pam's prior generations had died from cancer, as had Pam and her sister. So, I mean, that was an awful family tree reality, but she encourages everyone to pursue that for their own mental health and physical well-being. So that's next week, and The way we'll do it is we'll have our service, and the service to me is one of the important ones of the year, where we stand and say the names of people we have lost, and two big names among us, of course, but others in our own lives. We get to say their names out loud as part of the people who are part of us. So that's next Sunday at 10:30, and then a break in between with just coffee or something in the back. And then here at 12:30, and then a lunch following. Also, thinking of Pam, I want that Thanksgiving dinner, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, to be as special as we can make it, but I don't want us to try to make it as special as Pam made it, because as you know, she walked around for about 6 months with a board on her arm to link you to some responsibility for that meal. But we want to do this meal in part as a tribute to her, but that's to be a team effort, and we'll be putting our heads together as to how we do that. That's the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Now, thinking of Thanksgiving, when Pam learned that she was dying fairly soon, she asked me to make the Thanksgiving hymn, the first hymn of her service. We gather together, in part because Thanksgiving had come to mean so much to her, and because she was pretty thankful for the life she got to live. And we were thankful and are thankful that she got to live it so many years among us. Now, was there any other aside that I wanted to bring up? Well, I'll bring it up if it comes to me. So I thought today would be a good homecoming Sunday. I don't know what I mean by that. I hope you have a sense of homecoming when you come here. You do, don't you? Will you all say, yes, we do? Yes, of course you do. I said kiddingly, we had Jensen Beach High School had their homecoming this weekend, and with the streets had to be closed, and the entranceway had to be closed for a marching parade. So I thought we could do things like that. I thought of challenging our neighbor, the Unity Church, to a football game. I know some of you could get into that, but I also thought that if we actually tried to play it, that could make more work for me. So I let the thought pass. And I assure you that this week I thought many times, I wish I had let the thought pass about making meals from our first years, because my partner chef kept asking, whose idea was this? And I pretended not to hear. You know, in marriage, sometimes you do that. You pretend not to hear. But anyhow, by yesterday...
I think it's a great idea.
Oh, thank you. Where were you yesterday when I needed you?
I brought the coffee cake.
Anyhow, yesterday I was mumbling. There weren't vibes of blessing, but other vibes. I was emanating, and I was saying, whose idea was this? But up to the end, well, we'll see. The proof will be in the meal following, the eating following. But I had this idea for a sermon today, which I've had for a while, and I just haven't been able to get on the calendar, so I thought, today, when did I become gullible? When did you become gullible? I could have called this Rude Awakenings, or My End of Innocence. And I don't mean the girl named Lillian who kissed me in the project's elevator when we were in the third grade. The third grade. I couldn't wait to get out of that elevator. Or I could have called it Jolts from Childhood, or when I learned things were not as told or as taught or as they seemed. You no doubt have your own list. I was an avid fan of Superman, which was on our 4-inch TV screen most of the shows from 52 to 58. Do any of you remember watching that? It was a shock. Here he is. There he is, two of them. George Reeves and Christopher Reeves, no relation. It was a shock to learn that our flying hero, who flew under the flag Truth, Justice, and the American Way. You were listening. Truth, Justice, and the American Way. When we learned that he took his own life, that was a shock. A documentary years later left that suicide a question mark, but the damage was done. And then decades later, Superman returned with Christopher Reeves, no relation, until a horse riding mishap confined him to a wheelchair. He became a truly heroic activist from that wheelchair. Now, it just so happened he lived or stayed with a family near my Avon Methodist Church, where I was at the end of the last century. And reports of his health kept coming in because people in the church got to see him and know him. And you all know how that ended. And sadly, his young wife, Dana, died at a young age also. Superman seemed to be a cursed topic or title. I don't know, but it is in my mind. And just outside Troy, New York, in the town of Menands, there was a ballpark for the Albany team. I think it was called the Senators. In the off-season, a wrestling ring was assembled near the bleachers. And somehow my brother and I got there to see such marvels as this guy, Gorgeous George. Have you ever heard of him or seen him? I mean, he walked in with more arrogance than Muhammad Ali, who earned it, in my opinion. But anyhow, George strutted around like that, and he had his Goldilocks to boot. Anyhow, there was George, there was a guy named Yukon Eric, and Argentina Rocca, who did seem to fly from his corner to his opponent. We thought it was real. But years later, there was a documentary, and that documentary showed that it was more entertainment than sport. It seems like most of those guys died around age 50, so the entertainment was pretty hard on their bodies. There was another wrestler named Lou Thez. Had any of you ever heard of him or seen him? He was considered one of the greatest of his era, which was around that time. And he actually lived to be almost 90 because he found the fountain of youth. He retired to Florida. Lou Thez. Now, this is an aside on the wrestling that I can't help but share with you. One of my grand nieces in the Troy area is quite a wrestling star. She's an 11th grader, about this high. She has won most of the matchups in the Albany area. Last summer, she went to the Dakotas for Olympics trials. So, at the funeral home last week or so, I told her, and this was my very first conversation with her, I told her that when the family gathered the next day at her home after the graveside words for my sister and the internment of her urn, we all would go to her home, the home of this wrestler and her family. I told her that I wanted to arm wrestle her so I could tell my church I wrestled a wrestler and won. She just smiled. The next day, when I arrived at the home in Clifton Park, now Clifton Park is north of Troy and Albany where this family lives. This is one of the grandchildren families of my living sister, Sheila. But anyhow, when I arrived at the house, one of her siblings met me at the door and told me she was ready. Now, I didn't plan to let her lose, but 30 seconds after the start, I discovered I didn't have to let her anything. It was like this, and then it was like that. Give, I give. A bit more evidence that bluster doesn't always work. Now, two further awakenings from my youth. Stay with me. My first and last home in Troy was modest, but it was wonderfully near the great Troy Public Library, which was across the street from Russell Sage College. It was much quieter and calmer for homework and reading. In that magnificent reading room, I found journals and magazines like Foreign Affairs or such. In them, I read about the domino theory. The domino theory dominating the State Department in the Eisenhower administration. That theory held that if one little country in Asia was allowed to fall to communism, all Southeast Asia would. But that theory failed to recognize that Ho Chi Minh was a far more devoted nationalist than he was a communist. Now, decades later, when we were touring Vietnam, we were told we would be walking past the embalmed Ho Chi Minh. Now, I tried with the Viking guide. I tried with words like, we respected his place in history. We didn't need to see his body. And I got back, all tour groups allowed in the country agreed to walk past the glass mausoleum, and he would get us through quickly. And he did. And later on the bus, the guide asked if we could name the 10 greatest generals of all time, according to the British Museum. America had one on this list. So I know we have an historian here, Jack, so who do you think that was? The greatest general of all time, according to the British Museum. Well, we all suggested Washington and Eisenhower, but I think it was Robert E. Lee because of the numbers he had to go against. I think that's what it was, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But the reason the guide brought it up was because Vietnam, little Vietnam, had two generals on that list, the 10 greatest of all time. One was an unknown who had beaten back the Mongol hordes in the first millennium. The second was General Giap, who had defeated the French at Dien Bien Phu in 1954, and then another great empire later. Guess who? All right, we won't go there. That General Giap died about 10 or 15 years ago. He lived a long life for all the fighting he led. Now, one other aha moment in the religion departments stuck with me. My home minister in that downtown Methodist church my brother and I discovered stayed in touch through my college years. Now, I had come out of my fundamentalist phase, and when he took me to lunch, I was eager to run my awakened thoughts by him. I remember asking, really, isn't prayer just talking to yourself? He paid for lunch in several ways, I'm sure. At the end of one of them, I haven't forgotten this. He, a pretty conservative Christian Methodist, who went to about as conservative a Methodist seminary as one could find, Asbury, Kentucky, he said to me, I don't know if all the things I believe are true. What matters is I believe they make me a better person. And that's what I hope they will do. So no argument there. How do we question our own gullibility? Do we? The answer can't be, well, just join the UU congregation. I've been poring over recipes this week. In order to make molasses cookies, I had to buy a quantity of molasses to cover a number of batches. My wife kept saying, what are we going to do with the rest of the bottle? So, to confront gullibility, a tablespoonful of humility about how much we know. If I have to think I'm the smartest person in the room, make that any room, then I am hopeless. That would sadly mean I'm not going to learn from you, and you're not going to learn from me. And a gallon of whatever it takes to remind you and me, no leader has all the answers. No leader. And any good leader would start off admitting that. I guess children have to start off with gullibility and learn to question while maturing. A parent has to lean on because I said so, with little things like, hold my hand while we're crossing the street. In 1987, I was struck in Piccadilly Circus. Is that called Circle or Circus? Yeah, I thought it was. I was struck by a well-protected, clothing-wise, courier on a motorcycle. He got up and he helped me up and he asked, didn't your mother teach you to look both ways? Well, in the UK, you really do have to strain to remember to look the other way. Does pride in anything require us to ask no questions, admit no errors or missteps in our national history or in our personal histories? I've told you before that I used to tell my children that I wanted them to be an improvement on me, and I stopped when they informed me that they already were. I think in jest. I hope in jest. But the reality is, I should want and do want the time I have left to be an improvement of me. And of course, for that, I did indeed find a UU congregation. So if you think you have work to do, you are right. You have work to do, and get on it. Our shared UU principles more than imply there are finishing touches left for all of us. Now, this last hymn is O Young and Fearless Prophet from the Christian tradition. I include it because of my theme, but also because in my mind in Protestant churches, this is Reformation Sunday, I believe. And so Jesus is like a prophet. His words are in the back of our hymnal, and he certainly remains such for me. 276, O Young and Fearless Prophet. These are marching orders from one of the great leaders of the UUA, William Scholes. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands. William F. Scholes. come to the other room. There is food just waiting for you. Don't make me take it home.
Is there molasses in it?
What's that?
Is there molasses?